So I have another quick tip for you today. This is one of those small things that if you forget it can change an otherwise fun day in the woods into something much less enjoyable. Toilet paper. Now carrying a big roll of toilet paper like this can be cumbersome at best. Let me show you my solution. Stay tuned. So as I said, forgetting your toilet paper when you go out for an overnight or day hike even can be not a very enjoyable experience. I recall when I was just 12 years old, my best friend and I went out for our first overnight hike without the parents along or any adults along. We forgot a few things. We learned some very valuable lessons, one of which, don't forget your toilet paper. We were camping in a completely coniferous forest, all softwoods, no hardwoods with leaves to be found. And at that time, we weren't even aware that you could use sphagnum moss. We learned a couple of other valuable lessons as well. Things like why you don't heat your beans in the can over the fire without opening the can up first. But that's another story. So for in this video, I have a couple solutions to carrying a huge roll of toilet paper like this. I was reminded of this just recently by a video that I watched by a Canadian prepper, a channel that if you're not familiar with, it is all about prepping for major disasters, but there's a lot of valuable information that applies to bushcraft as well. And he was reviewing a product that he takes with him, and I found something similar. The product he was reviewing was Whizzy Wipes, a small compressed paper towelette. I've been aware of those for quite a while. Not the Whizzy Wipe brand, but the Towelettes. And I have some with me. I found these at the dollar store. $1.25, package of 8. And for that, in that package of 8, that works out to about 15 cents a towelette. Now, you can buy the Whizzy Wipes in much larger volumes, and you can start making that much cheaper per tablet, that is. But if you're only looking for a few to pack along just in case, $1.25 is not a bad price to pay. So, what makes these things so valuable? Well, let me demonstrate, and I think you'll understand why. So what these compressed towelettes are is a form of paper made of, well, the package says non-toxic, all-natural, biodegradable materials. So basically a cellulose paper type material. And they're compressed very small, very hard, almost looks like a candy. And they expand when you put them in water. Now in this little bowl I have about a tablespoon of water. And that's more than enough to make this expand to its full size. That's pretty impressive, and all the water literally was soaked up by the towelette. Then you can take the towelette and open it up. And you've got a pretty good size, if I can find the edge. Oh, there it is. A pretty good size towelette. Now this has some real advantages if you're going to be using it for personal hygiene. One, it's a good size, but it's already damp, making the job easier. But it's also very strong. Now, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that at all with a piece of paper, piece of toilet paper. So this is quite a strong piece of material. Now it does have its limits. You're not going to be able to pull it apart too far, and eventually it is going to rip, but I mean, I'm pulling on it quite hard now. So, given that limitation aside, this is more than effective enough for doing personal hygiene issues. All right, so that's the towelette. Now, let me show you a couple of options for packaging these things. So also from the dollar store, I picked up some little Ziploc bags. And those little Ziploc bags come in a couple of different sizes. And the small one allows me to put 4 of the little towelettes, might get a 5th, maybe even a 6th one in here. But you can get 4 to 6 towelettes in one of these small Ziploc bags, keeping them dry so they don't expand on you. And you can put those just about anywhere in your kit. In fact, why not make multiple sets of these things and put them all over your kits? Your larger kits, you can certainly put a lot in. Even if you're going out for a day hike, it's not a bad idea to pack a couple of these away, because you never know when you're going to need something like this. So a small envelope like that with 4 towelettes in it, that's pretty good. The larger Ziploc bags allow me to put as many towelettes in as I want, but they also allow me to put in hand wipes for cleaning my hands afterwards. And these are also picked up at the dollar store. So this is a pretty inexpensive, effective way of packaging up materials that you never know when you're going to need, let's put it that way. So that's not a bad idea. Bushcrafters appreciate when an item is multi-use, and that goes for these small towelettes as well. You can do other things than personal hygiene with these. Certainly, one of the things that comes right to the top of my head right away is first aid. This can be used for cleaning up blood or other debris and clean wounds out if you need to get in and clean a wound out. I think it could also be used for packing a large wound. Now, take into consideration proper first aid training. When you have a need for something to control major bleeding, you usually want something sterile, but something sterile is not always available. So you settle for something clean. These are packaged nice and tight. I wouldn't call them sterile, but I think they are, probably could be said to be clean. So these could be used for first aid. But what else? Well, certainly any other cleanup jobs, such as your pots, pans, dishes, or anything else you need to do. I think this is pretty much open to your imagination. Handy and small, very inexpensive at 15 cents a piece. You could put these just about anywhere in your kit. A couple of packages from the dollar store distributed around your kit would give you options to use them for any number of things. Just a quick tip. One of those things that if you ever forget once, you'll never forget it again. But this provides you with options on packing as many of these as you want into different parts of your kit. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this quick tip, and if you have, maybe you'll consider subscribing to my channel. But in the meantime, get out and explore. Take that path less traveled. It will make all the difference. Bye for now.